Greetings all and welcome. I'm Anthony Brookhart, the captain of the planning team for the longest day in Wapakoneta. My team and I would like to share with you why this event has been so important to us. A few of my team members, including myself, would like to share our stories. What is the longest day?
The longest day is a day to raise awareness for Alzheimer's and dementia and to educate the public on this awful disease.
The longest day to me is fundraising, awareness, and community building for Alzheimer's.
The longest day is the summer solstice. It is the day that we honor those who are affected by Alzheimer's and other dementias.
A day to raise awareness for Alzheimer's and dementia patients, to also raise funds for research and support for patients' caregivers.
Which Alzheimer's fact hits you the hardest?
The fact that hits me the hardest is obviously the loss of a loved one, but the lack of not having care facilities to take care of our loved ones with the disease.
The fact that hit me the hardest was there are going to be 14 trillion people by 2050 that has Alzheimer's. There is no cure or no treatment as of 2018.
The fact that there is no cure, there's no treatment, there's no slowing this terrible disease down.
It's an ever-growing disease with no for sure cure in sight yet.
Why are you helping with the longest day and how has Alzheimer's affected you?
I'm helping with the longest day to raise awareness for the disease, and my great-grandmother passed away from dementia. I've been in the healthcare field for 12 years, so I've seen the disease firsthand, and I've seen how it can rip lives apart.
Why am I helping with Alzheimer's and how has it affected me? I wanted to get involved with the community, and a few months ago my mother has passed away from Alzheimer's, and it affected our family for over the past 8 years. It really, truly affected my family. Brought us close together, but it also tore us apart too. So we need a support system, and we need more testimonies of trying to deal with this disease.
My grandmother had Alzheimer's. It was devastating. My mother died early, so we don't know if she would have been affected. Now it's my generation's turn, and there's going to be a lot of us that are either going to be caregivers or actually have the disease.
I'm helping so that I can do my part in hopefully finding a cure, a way to bring our loved ones back to us. The way it's affected me, though he hasn't been diagnosed yet, my father has a majority of the signs of Alzheimer's. If I can help him and others not having to completely fade away from us, I most definitely will.
Greetings and welcome. My name is Anthony Brookhart, and I'm a chef, a grandson, and a family caregiver. I'm so very honored to have the opportunity to share my story with you today and the wonderful legacy of my beloved grandmother. Keep a smile on your face and a song in your heart. Keep a smile on your face and a song in your heart. Keep a smile on your face and a song in your heart. If I heard it once, I've heard it a million times. You see, keep a smile on your face and a song in your heart was my grandmother's favorite saying. My grandmother's famous saying. Through good times and bad, it was a banner and battle cry that my family lived by. So there I was, summer of 1989, an energetic 5-year-old little boy, living at the time my whole life's dream. You see, my grandparents took our entire family to what I call Disney World. I was standing next to my grandmother, who was sitting on a park bench on Main Street, USA, in the Magic Kingdom of Disney World. The afternoon parade had just finished, and I leaned over to my Grams and I whispered into her ear, "Grams, I'm gonna work here someday." It was my grandmother who, when I was 5, assured me that, of course, if I kept a smile on my face and a song in my heart and worked really hard, I could one day get my dream job at Walt Disney World. 20 years later, almost exactly to the day, after I got that dream job, it was my grandmother who, as we celebrated that dream job, reminded me that this is why we keep a smile on our face and a song in our heart. 10 years ago, I made the hardest yet easiest decision of my life. I left my dream job at Disney World. All I knew at the time was Graham's health was declining and I needed to be there. When I returned home, Graham's first words to me were, "Tony, it sucks getting old, but I've got a smile on my face and a song in my heart." When Graham had her reconstructive back surgery, she went into the operating room with a smile on her face and a song in her heart. Right before they wheeled her out, she put on a pair of googly-eye glasses just to make the doctors laugh. That jolly spirit in good and bad times is the spirit of keep a smile on your face and a song in your heart. My family and I dealt with the first few stages of Alzheimer's for 7 years before a diagnosis was given. Finally, 4 years ago, a month before the annual walk, my grandmother was diagnosed. Finally, we had answers, and we knew what to expect. Over the next 4 years, she declined rather rapidly, but on rare occasions, that Irish twinkle in her eye would come back, and I had my grandmother back for a fleeting moment. It brought new meaning to when Irish eyes are smiling. We knew she was with us when she had that Irish twinkle in her eye. When she was not with us, it was nothing but fog. After research, my family found great miracles in the music and memory program. So much that a few weeks before Christmas, my cousin and I decided we were going to put Grandma saying to music, in hopes that through music we could help remind her to keep a smile on her face and a song in her heart. Christmas Day 2015, we performed this song for her. As we sang, I danced around with a poster we made that had her saying on it. And I could see the exact moment when it clicked in her eyes. This was her song. This was her saying put to music. You see, when I tell this part of the story, I usually leave out one important detail. But in this avenue, I think it's important to share the hard things as well. You see, a week before Christmas Day was actually the first time we had planned on sharing the song with my grandmother. It was our annual Christmas weekend, like we had done every year before. We met like we usually do Saturday evening for church, and then returned to my grandparents' house for food, festivities, and gifts. That evening, Gran was doing well. She spoke with all of us, and great pictures were taken. The next day was the day we had planned on sharing the song with her. As we started the second day of our festivities, Graham and Grams were absent. They were absent for the meal and for about half of the day. We had decided to go over to the care facility Grams was staying at to give her the gift of this song that we had prepared. We had arrived not knowing what kind of state Grandma would be in. As we arrived, we were probably struck with our worst fear. Grams was in a state where she was completely out of it. Though her eyes may have been open, she didn't respond to any sort of stimulation or communication. This was probably one of the hardest things for all of her beloved grandkids to see. Reluctantly, we still went on. We played the song and sang along with it. We sang the lyrics that meant so much to all of us. Yet Grams was so deep in the fog of this disease, she had no idea what was going on. Tears fell like rain as some of her grandkids saw her like this for the first time. Thoughts rushed through our minds like, did we exhaust her yesterday? Or will she ever come out of this state? Regardless of how hard we tried that day, Grams did not come out of the fog. We left with hearts broken, as the realities of this disease truly hit us hard. I prepared myself, once we got the diagnosis, for her to not remember my name. I was prepared for sundowners. I was prepared for her to have days where she was in the fog just like she was in the story. What I was not prepared for was when the days that came that her body forgot how to swallow, that her body forgot how to eat. In December of 2016, 3 days after her 86th birthday, we got the call that I dreaded. We rushed to my grandmother's side and I held her hand. And I softly sang her favorite hymn, On Eagle's Wings. That night, I sang my grandmother to sleep. Heavenly sleep. As hard as this disease is, I am sure if we keep walking and we keep doing events like the longest day, and we keep advocating for those affected by this disease, we will one day see the first survivor of Alzheimer's. At my grandmother's memorial, we celebrated her life in the spirit of keep a smile on your face and a song in your heart.
Keep doing it.
As we said goodbye, we all wore googly eyeglasses. Something that she absolutely would have loved and would have just made her laugh. Something she absolutely enjoyed doing. I can still hear her voice in my ear saying, I love to laugh. And that is the spirit of keep a smile on your face and a song in your heart. To keep her legacy alive, we have since created a smileandasong.com to bring our motto, our grandmother's motto, our family battle cry, to the world. We created these bracelets to help remind all those we come in contact with to keep a smile on their face and a song in their heart. And until the day that we see the first survivor of Alzheimer's, I personally will continue to raise funds. I will continue to raise awareness. And I will keep speaking out as an advocate so no more families have to experience the heartache mine has through this disease. Unfortunately, this is not where our family Alzheimer's story ends. Sadly, with Alzheimer's, sometimes caring for a loved one has more of an effect on the caregiver than the person living with Alzheimer's. Those who are a caregiver are 2/3 more likely to get Alzheimer's from the strains and stresses caregiving has on the brain. Caregivers are also more likely to see declining health because of these same reasons. In the last minutes of this past April, again, I found myself in the same position I was just over a year prior. At the bedside of my grandfather, with music playing in the background, and his hand in mine, and with God's angels tending to his spirit, I told my grandfather it was okay to let go, and that soon he would be in the loving embrace of his beautiful bride. Though kidney failure may have been the given cause of his passing, I knew that it was also due to the strain on his body from being such a faithful caregiver to my grandmother. Tell me one of your favorite stories of dealing with my grandmother.
I think my favorite story was we went and seen her at the nursing home, and she was having a bad day until we walked in, and then she looked at us, grabbed our hands, and said, "Here are my boys."
Thank you for the opportunity to share my story.
Thank you for the opportunity to share my story.
Thank you for letting me share my story.